This is Terrence Andre Banks with Information Age Financial Solutions, coming to you from an article I read from theorganicprepper.com. The middle class sure isn't what it used to be. The title caught my attention. Not The Organic Prepper is not a site that I normally visit, but when I see titles like this, it always grabs my attention, especially in the information age that we at, and the old adage of not doing what was done in the past is no longer applicable, and we have to change. But the middle class sure isn't what it used to be is definitely a statement that's worth repeating. I'm going to dive right into the article. Of course, I'm going to put the link in the description so you can check at your leisure. If you notice that it takes a lot more money to live the middle class American dream that it used to, you're not alone. Buying a house, saving for retirement, putting your kids through college while living comfortably is a whole lot harder than it once was. Being part of the middle class, sure it wasn't, article kind of jumped up a little bit here. Sure isn't what it used to be. Despite the rosy outlook on employment numbers, things have become incredibly difficult for many families. They're deeply in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, and without any emergency fund. Let's take a look at what the media is saying about the middle class. Now, again, some sites have a lot of advertising, which slows things up. Just be mindful of that. First of all, what is middle class? There are many different definitions of middle class, and a lot of it depends on where you live. Easy, you may be thinking, just live somewhere with a lower cost of living. Unfortunately, it isn't that easy, because when you move to an area with a lower cost of living, you're likely to get paid less for your occupation. Well said. Once upon a time, the middle class was the largest group of Americans. Now, according to Pew Research Group, it is closely matched by people with the low income class and the high income class. The image below shows the stats for 2014. I always love a good chart. Upper income now, one individual is 72,000, two individuals 102,000, 125, 145 for family 4, 162 for family 5. Here's the middle income. This is 2014 for one income. 24,000 makes up the new middle income. Wow. 34,000 for a couple of 2, 41,869 for 3 people, 48,347 for 4 people, and 54,053 for the middle class now, according to this particular thing. Pew Research Center. That's striking, because it's just interesting how things change dramatically. Let's keep going down. According to Quentin Patel, the personal finance of editor for MarketWatch, middle class is tough to define. There is no universal definition of middle class. The Pew Research often uses the middle wealth quintile, the middle 20% Americans' income and wealth. Other economists have said it's defined as making 50% above or below the median annual income. Most Americans regard a college education as a critical component to becoming middle class. Wow. That's, again, an old adage. With the cost of college education and exceeding the amount that you're going to receive in terms of exceeding it by quadruples in terms of what you're going to receive for pay, unless you're in a particular field where you can actually gain that and you're competing against people as well who are also in that field. I wouldn't even use that as a component to define what the middle class is, but because, again, if you have a heartbeat, the federal government loans you anything for student loans, so that shouldn't even be a criteria. But, so that's just my little 2 cents in this thing, because it doesn't even make any sense. Back in the days, it might have done that because college education actually really meant something, and you were not punished to become educated. You were rewarded for it. But that has long since been the case. Some 71% of people with a college degree consider themselves middle class versus just 50% of people with a high school diploma or less, according to a 2012 survey by Gallup. And yet college graduates in 2017 are shouldering $1.3 trillion in student debt. This number is not accurate. It's actually over $1.5 trillion. Previous studies suggest that those who identify as middle class higher than 50%, but also indicates that the middle class is shrinking. Those who identify as middle class has fallen 59% in 2010 from 62% in 1991, according to a separate report by the Pew Research Center, a nonprofit think tank in Washington, D.C. Other sources cite variables like savings, net worth, debt, and spending to determine whether a family is middle class. These 2 calculators will help you compare your income to others in the area. Oh, that's pretty good. They give you a Pew Research grant so you can do your own calculations here and CN Money Middle calculator. Something that you might want to look into, especially if you want to define yourself as the middle class. Keep going on. The middle class is shrinking. Pew defines middle class middle earners as anyone who earns between 2/3 and twice the median household income in a given year. In 2014, this included a three-person household earning between $42,000 to $126,000 per year. In 1971, 61% of households were middle earners by this standard. By 2015, only 50% were. After more than 4 decades of serving as the nation's economic majority, the American middle class is now matched in number by those in economic tiers above and below it. In early 2015, 120.8 million adults were in the middle income households, compared with 121.3 million in lower and upper income households combined. A demographic shift that could signal a tipping point, according to a new Pew Research Center analyst of government data. Both of the above articles state that more people are getting pushed into the higher income class than are sliding into the lower income class, which sounds great initially. But when you look at it more closely, those in the middle class are far less wealthy than they used to be. Middle income Americans have fallen further behind financially in the new century. In 2014, the median income of these households were 4% less than in 2000. Moreover, because of the housing market crisis and the Great Recession of 2007 to 2009, their median wealth, assets minus debts, fell by 28% from 2001 to 2013. Wow. The gaps in income and wealth between middle and upper income households widened substantially in the past 3 to 4 decades. As noted, one result is that the U.S. share of U.S. aggregate household income held by upper income households climbed sharply from 29% in 1970 to 49% in 2014. More recently, upper income families, which had 3 times as much wealth as middle income families in 1983, more than doubled the wealth gap by 2013. They have said, no, I'm sorry, I can't even say that they had 7 times as much wealth as middle income families. It's getting harder and harder to thrive on a middle class income. The middle class isn't what it used to be. Once again, he's saying that particular theme. Are struggling for several reasons. Despite their incomes, they owe more and have saved less than ever before. If you can dig through the political charge introduction and get to the statistics in the New York Mag article, you'll find the following. It's a pretty lengthy article. I just want to stop here one second and just throw out this little adage. Even when they point out the people moving to these upper income class, we're not taking consideration how much debt they actually have on and how accurate those numbers are going to be as well. Because if you have a declining middle class on how it's defined, and the massive amounts of debt that people are taking on, and the other surveys where you don't have people having at least 40%, people can't come up 50 or 60%. I'm just throwing out large numbers here, but really not trying to be, just to be saying something for punch value, but saying that, we're in a different time and people don't have that income. So even there, you have to take this and come to your own conclusions. Having more debt than savings is called negative wealth. 1/5 of American households fall into this category. Of course, $1 trillion in credit card debt and 1.4 trillion in student loan debt has taken a toll eventually, right? Then there's the ridiculous cost of healthcare in our country. I recently had my own bad experience with healthcare costs. Those who are in the upper end of the middle class are hit with premiums well into thousands of dollars per month for far less coverage than they had previously. So true. Finally, kind of jumping around here because I want to keep going. Finally, Americans don't have much in the way of any emergency fund. This is what I was just alluding to. A recent study found that a whopping 40% of us will be unable to cover an unexpected bill of only $400. The middle class and often even the upper middle class are living paycheck to paycheck. That's what I was trying to get at here. And not always through poor handling of money. Where the great jobs are, folks, wants to make $300,000, $400,000, live in a middle class lifestyle. Lots of young people go deeply into debt for education that will hopefully land them in a job in Silicon Valley, New York City, or some other metropolitan area. After all, where are the jobs that start you off at $80,000 a year are, right? Unfortunately, they are also the places in which the cost of living is completely out of reach for those with middle class income, making this so that the middle class people feel as though they need to earn anywhere from $300,000 to $400,000 per year. This article points the actual amounts of money you need to make in 25 different metropolitan areas to live in a middle class lifestyle. Okay, love a good chart here. Where's the big difference between these amounts and the amounts that statistics show that are needed? The stats showing everything. Sam Dogan wrote an article about what you need to earn more. Let me tell you a real sad story. In order to comfortably raise a family in an expensive coastal city like San Francisco or New York, you got to make at least $300,000 a year. You can certainly raise a family earning less, as many do, but it won't be easy if your goal is to save for retirement, save for your child's education, and own your home instead of rent and actually retire by a reasonable age. These old adages, boy. Here's a budget he pulled together. If you read the article and look out his review of the expenses, they aren't as out of whack as that you might sound to those who live outside the major metro areas. This is worth looking into. I'm just kind of scrolling down. Again, I'll put that link in for your description aspect for you to look at your leisure. While I can't actually imagine making the kind of money every year, neither can I imagine facing those kinds of expenses. Looking at all these expenses, clothes for all three, $6,000, glass, car insurance. When you base your costs are that high, even hardcore frugality can't save you. What's a middle class family to do? It is essential to watch the trends and be ready that things come tumbling down. Here are some things on which you should focus on. Build an emergency fund. Reduce your fixed expenses. Building a stockpile. This will cut your costs to bear the minimum during bad times. Paying off debt. Good stuff. It's been said from before. These are nothing new. Essential to pay attention to what's going on in the economy. Jose, a writer from Venezuela, wrote out of numerous warning signs that should have told them that a financial crisis was drawing near. If you want to keep up to date with that, so it's happy to subscribe to my newsletter here. Good point about Venezuela. There was probably numerous signals showing that, and hopefully my channel will be one of them, letting you know that things are going to change. Things are already changing, and the old adages of doing that without being blindly aware, not aware of the circumstances, will put you in an even worse situation for you and your family. I talked about the pension crisis and other things that's brewing, especially student loan issues. And again, we're in the second longest expansion that we had in United States history. The only way to be different from those families who are struggling to pay their $24,650 in monthly expenses to live differently than they do. Being part of the middle class isn't what it used to be. It doesn't take a financial expert to use that the economy, despite the optimism from the White House, is going to continue to hit most of us hard. Now is the time to make the changes before they forced on you. The middle class sure isn't what it used to be, the organic prepper. See if we got anything else down in this article. And I kind of skimmed through it. There's probably some other things that you can look into. I'm trying to visit this website a little bit more often. They actually got some good points here. Take a look at it at your leisure. Prepare for the times that's going to come. Especially learning different skills. I'm putting out different videos as well in terms of internet marketing, different things you can do to generate some extra income and not be so controlled by one source. So until my next video, if this video has been any value, please subscribe, leave some comments. I'm out.